Secrets of the Ancient Mayan Temples? A bold title shimmers over a luminous jungle canopy. The title breathes like living neon glass. Pastel gradients ripple across carved stone motifs. A temple silhouette emerges, bright yet unobscured. The frame settles into serene, luminous expectation. Dawn shafts pierce pastel mist over emerald leaves. Kellen follows, adjusting a wrist hollow projector. Two glowing butterflies swirl between the explorers. They move toward a moss-draped trail, steady and alert. Kellen scans the path and nods quietly to proceed. A stepped pyramid rises warm and radiant beyond the trees. Arya indicates a weathered lintel carved with star glyphs. Kellen kneels to compare a holographic overlay to the carvings. Macaws cast moving color across the glowing facade. The explorers align ancient marks with modern projection. They begin climbing wide steps polished by centuries. Kellen's gloved hand brushes a constellation-shaped groove. A lens flare ripples as sunlight aligns with a notch above. Their ascent becomes measured, attuned to the geometry. A hush of expectation settles as they near the terrace. A lintel reveals intricate star maps and alien-like sigils. Kellen projects a grid that locks onto the carvings. Arya hovers her palm over a glowing spiral motif. Their shoulders nearly touch as symbols rotate subtly. The sunbeam and grid synchronize, promising a mechanism. Arya sequences the glyphs as Kellen primes the prism at the door. Light refracts, mapping a keyhole silhouette across the stone. Arya confirms the sequence. The panel loosens and breathes dust. A tremor ripples through the steps, the doorway yawns open. Kellen sweeps the prism beam. Arya steps toward the luminous corridor. Mirrors scatter ultra-pastel rays as Arya leads into narrowing stone. Kellen deploys a floating beacon that blooms like a petal of light. They confer at a narrowing pinch point, tracing the serpent etchings. A second beacon marks the route as constellations drift along the walls. Arya advances with measured steps, following the sun's mapped ribbon. They enter a circular chamber ringed by intertwined serpent reliefs. Arya studies clustered tiles. Alignments hint at celestial patterns. Kellen rotates the glyph ring until a comet meets a jaguar eye. They mirror the twin serpents, standing across the dais in balance. A harmonic glow signals the chamber's concealed passage unlocking. A spiral stair drops into cool air shimmering with pollen-like lights. Arya traces a mural of a canoe among stars on the descent. Kellen illuminates embedded crystals, each step answers in color. Between them, obsidian briefly reflects a starfield not of this sky. They continue downward, following the gradient steps into deep glow. A vast chamber opens, its ceiling pierced with precise stellar pinholes. Arya takes the center disk as Kellen adjusts the prism alignment. The constellations resolve around unknown objects in measured harmony. Facing each other, they complete alignment across the luminous disk. A central column unfolds like a flower, revealing circuitry like glyphs. Arya unrolls the codex strip beside the stone console. Kellen mirrors the serpent chamber sequence on the console. Side by side, they compare codex signs to shifting holograms. Arya indicates the spiral key. Kellen nods, committing the pattern. The composite resolves, bridging numerals and alien geometry. Stone petals retract, revealing a sanctum of artifacts. Arya steps in first, drawn to the rippling light bowl. Kellen pauses at the threshold, scanning the air for changes. Particles swirl into a measured helix above the central bowl. Arya and Kellen share a look, then commit to enter fully. Arya's fingertips meet the bowl, color gathers like dawn. Kellen steadies her elbow as the aurora blooms wider. Discs elevate, showing reliefs of star paths and descent beams. Lines within the stone illuminate like living veins. Anchored by each other, they stand in the chamber's living color. A crystal lattice seals several artifacts beyond their reach. Arya raises open palms, observing the boundary in silence. Kellen lowers his hands, acknowledging what must remain closed. Above, the star vault shifts into a new configuration. They accept the limit and study what the vault chooses to share. They emerge onto the pyramid steps into a pastel sunset glow. Arya raises a crystal rod, refracting the sky into beams. Kellen records the alignment as Venus pricks the horizon. Side by side, they stand framed by the glowing temple. Petals of light drift as the evening seals their discovery.